Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. My name is Marko and I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. In today's episode, we're doing something a little bit different. That's why I got the headphones on, as you can see here. I actually gave out a phone number on Instagram and also on Twitter for you guys to either shoot me a text message with any financial questions or leave me a voicemail with your financial questions. And I got a lot of great questions and a lot of great feedback. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm either going to be listening to these voicemails or I'm going to be reading the text messages. And on some of these phone calls, I'm just going to say, hey, let's see if we can get in touch with these people and actually call them and obviously tell them that, hey, this isn't financial advice. I'm just a guy on YouTube. This call is being recorded, yada, yada, yada. Compliance, compliance, compliance. So anyway, let's get right into this first phone call. I'm not going to share the screen here because there's really no point to do so. But this is a gentleman who has a question about real estate.
Hey, Marko. Thank you for taking my question. It is regarding real estate. We currently own a home in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'll be leaving for the military in 6 months. So we're debating whether we should sell or rent it out. If we sell it, we clear about $150,000 in gains. Then we obviously put that to either our next home or other investments. But I'm leaning towards renting it because both the rental and housing market here are super hot. No pun intended. And if we rent it out,
I'm sorry. Hold on. I got to interrupt. Hold on. Who else heard that? Hold on. My dude goes, they're super hot. No pun intended. Hold on.
And housing market here are super hot. No pun intended. And
he hit him with that quick little ha.
If we rent it out, I was thinking about refinancing to a lower interest rate. Right now, we have it on a 20-year note at a 3.6% APR with about 17 years left. So I was thinking refinancing so we could clear about half a percentage point off, and I would take it to a 30-year. That way I could lower the mortgage payment as much as possible and maximize cash flow. I would love to get your opinion on what we should do and whether or not we should refinance if we're going to rent it out. Of course, that would be offset by having to hire a property management company since we'll be out of state. So thank you for your opinion, and I respect your thoughts, and thank you for all you do, man. I love your work. Have a prosperous day.
Oh, he hit him with the have a prosperous day. Nice. Okay, so in this situation, this person is basically just a quick recap. He's leaving for the military in 6 months. He wants to know whether he should sell his house with a ton of capital gains since he bought it, $150,000 to be exact, in case you didn't hear that. Or should he rent it out? And if they do decide to rent it out, should he take his 20-year mortgage at 3.6% and refinance it into a 30-year fixed, saving him about 0.5% or 50 basis points, right around 3.1% APR. So in this scenario, this is one of those questions where it makes sense to get on the phone with him because you can't really give advice. And again, this is not financial advice, just a guy on YouTube, without understanding someone's long-term goals and their situation and their portfolio and their net worth overall, where it is right now. So in my opinion, just going off of this voicemail, it sounds like this guy really wants to rent it out. It sounds like he wants to be a landlord. However, there's a couple things here. If he were to sell it and incur those capital gains, did he use his one-time exemption of, living in this house a year or longer, and that way he can kind of forego those capital gains taxes or the taxes on those capital gains taxes of $150,000. So it depends on how long he's lived in the house, and if he can, that $150,000 is appealing because that could be used, as he said, as the down payment on his next home. So typically, a lot of people in the country right now are going through this exact same scenario. They bought a starter home. It's appreciated a crazy amount, as you've seen if you watch my channel over the past couple years. Low interest rates, high asset prices, right? So now these people feel like they're kind of trading up. So like, yes, their first starter home appreciated a ton, but they're just kind of horse trading and going up into the next property because those properties appreciated a ton as well. So you're kind of making almost like a lateral move, if you will, when you're comparing apples to apples at the end of the day. So the only yellow flags I see in this deal, because to me it sounds like this guy does want to be a landlord, and I know from a text message that he sent me using this phone number, and I will post the phone number on the screen in the beginning of this video if I haven't mentioned it already. But basically, he said that he will be provided with housing when he does leave for the military in 6 months. So with that being said, in my opinion, if he does have the housing provided to him by the military, and he wanted to keep this as a rental, the other yellow flag is that it's going to be an out-of-state rental with an out-of-state property manager. So two things there. So I'm kind of unpacking these things piece by piece. So I'm not really a fan of out-of-state rentals unless you're working with, a bulletproof property manager who you've worked with in the past, and they have really good credibility and they have good ratings. And then also, if he's going to refi this from 17 years left to 30 years left, as he mentioned in this voicemail, yes, he's doing that to give him more cushion and provide more cash flow because you're stretching the payments out over 360 months as opposed to 17 years where it's at right now. And also the interest rate is going down by 0.5%, as he mentioned. However, how much more in cash flow is that out-of-state property manager going to take up and eat into this cash flow or eat into this deal? So those are the only two yellow flags that I see here. Again, as I mentioned, I'm not really a fan of out-of-state rentals. If you're going to be managing this stuff, you have to be managing it either with a partner that has equity in the deal, so maybe like a property manager partner, so they have skin in the game. Otherwise, a lot of these mom and pop property managers, some of them aren't really incentivized to provide great service, and actually they're incentivized for stuff to break and for tenants to leave with a lot of turnover, because that's typically how they get compensated. I'm not saying all are like that, but with the smaller operations, if the property isn't like, I'd say 150 units or bigger, you're not really going to get that, top level property manager. So I know all the mom and pop property managers out there that do a good job are kind of mad at me for saying that, but that does seem to be the case just based on my experience. So I'm not going to give this guy a definitive answer because it sounds like he wants to do this, but if it were me, where's he, see, I don't have him on the phone, so where's he going to come up with the rest of the money once his stint in the military is over and he needs to buy that, second home or forever home if he does decide to keep this as a rental? So what I kind of want to do here is I actually want to call him because I have his phone number right here, and I probably could do that. I didn't really give him a heads up, and I'd feel weird about it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's see what happens. If he doesn't pick up, I'll go to the next question or the next voicemail. He may not even know it's me too, so I'll leave him a voicemail.
You've reached Marko.
Okay, so I'm not going to leave that on the recording, so I'll probably bleep that out. But yeah, I went to voicemail. I'm not going to leave him one just for compliance reasons. So that's kind of like my take on it. If you don't have money to move into the second home, where are you going to get it from? Are you doing a cash out refi? That's another thing that I didn't touch on. If he's pulling any money out of this deal, I know he's doing this to get the lowest payment possible, so he's probably not doing that. But if his interest rate goes down enough, he mentioned 0.5%, and his payments are low enough, maybe he is pulling some money or some equity out of this house. So if that's the case, then that's tax-free money. So all in all, not a fan of out-of-state rentals unless you're working with a partner who is a partner in the property, unless you're working with like a 150-plus unit commercial building, working with a super reputable property manager, and then also, where are you going to get your money for the next forever home? So what is your guys' take on this? Leave it down in the comments below. Maybe I'm missing something because I'm kind of just doing this on the fly. But with that being said, let's get into the next one.
Hey Marko, my name is Jeffrey, and I've been watching your content for a while, and it's really helped me a lot. So my question is, do you think it'd be wise to buy a Tesla Model 3 to save on gas and possibly insurance? The main reason I would want to buy the car is, to save money and to use the car for like third-party companies like Uber, Lyft, and then, just companies that pay me to use my car by the mile. I have $40K saved up in a high yield interest account, and I really don't like the idea of using it all on the car. So I was thinking of starting another high yield savings account to fund the car. Yeah, so I really kind of like hit a like wall here. So that 40K, just, you know, a bit of the backstory, is for my future home that I want to pay. I want to put down a minimum of like 30%. Like I saw your mortgage 101 video, and then I saw some of the spreadsheet. So yeah, so I want to do a minimum of 100K or 30%. Hopefully you can reply to it. Thanks, bro. Have a good one.
Okay. Thanks, Jeffrey. Thank you for your voicemail. So what I'm hearing here is that you have 40 grand put away. It's in a high yield, high yield savings account, probably making 0.5%, right? While interest and inflation is way higher than that. So he's got 40K saved up, and he's talking about the idea of, hey, I want to drive, Instacart, Uber, Lyft, using this car that has very low maintenance compared to other cars, which I'm going to get into here in a second here, perceived low maintenance, because there's no gas, it's just electricity, things like that. And I want to use it for side income. However, in the second part of the voicemail, or the second part of the question, it gets kind of scary here, because he mentioned that it's for a future home and it's for a down payment, and he wants to put down like 30% on his next house. So I'm not sure, how old he is or what kind of properties he's looking at, but 30% in this current market, if you're not looking at like, $100,000 condo, somewhere in the Midwest for, 100 grand, 30% down payment, $30,000, this could get kind of ugly pretty quickly here. So what I don't want to see him doing is taking his, hard-earned money, his nest egg, and just blowing it on a car that he thinks is going to make him some money, which in the beginning it will, but I'm going to get into depreciation and stuff here in a second. But I think that a primary residence is going to be more beneficial than having a Tesla. I feel like the Tesla is maybe something that he wants, as opposed to, really needs. And he's kind of using the side income stuff as maybe, an excuse. And I don't mean that as an excuse, but I mean that just maybe it's like an incentive or as a benefit. But without further ado, let's actually get into some numbers here. So if you look at the screen here, the IRS for 2020 tax filings, self-employed can actually claim 57.5 cents per mile, per business mile driven. So this car is most likely not going to be, 100% dedicated for business. He can probably use a log tracker on a mobile app. And if he's, enabling Uber or enabling Lyft, he can turn that on while he's giving people rides. And that way all his miles are tracked for the year, and he can take that 57.5 cents per mile as a deduction. But the question here is, the reason I'm bringing this up right here is, why is it 57.5 cents per mile? Well, typically that's because cars have maintenance, okay? They have oil, they have fluids, they have moving parts, internal combustion engines. I know that this is a Tesla, the maintenance is a lot less. However, if you dig into insurance on Teslas, he mentioned that he's getting a Model 3, and basically what this is coming out to be an average of $3,600 per year. So although the maintenance costs are a little bit lower, and I'm talking about the regular maintenance costs of a Tesla, they're a little bit lower than an internal combustion engine car, the insurance costs are a lot more. So I pay probably less than $1,000 a year for insurance. You can see here that this Tesla Model 3, on average, depending on where you're at in the country, is $3,600. It's 3 times as much. So not only that, you're going to have to pay taxes on your income from these ride-sharing services, which is going to eat into that profit margin even more. So in my opinion, this sounds like it's more of a want than a need. And if you want to move out of the current house that you're in and save it for a home, like he mentioned in this voicemail, I'm probably going to lean more towards the house, okay? So at the end of the day, I think this person, really wants this Tesla, but I think the house will be, something that appreciates in value over time, even though Teslas do hold their value pretty well. So those are 2 voicemails we went through. Maybe I'll go through one more text message here. There's a person asking me, hey, Marko, love what you do. Here's my question. Do you ever use theta gang strategies with your stock portfolio, like covered calls or cash secured puts? Okay, so this is a very good question. So I'm going to open up Robinhood real quick, and I'm going to try and explain this very quickly for those of you that aren't familiar with theta decay and theta strategies when it comes to options investing. So say, for example, I'm someone that's interested in owning SPY. So this is the S&P 500 ETF. It's probably the most traded ETF on the planet, if not the most traded security. Definitely ETF. The volume is huge. Average volume is 51.3 million, which you can see right here. Now, if I want to trade options on this, what this person is alluding to is basically writing options or selling options. This isn't buying options. This isn't like buying, thinking that the SPY is going to go up a month from now, so I'm going to buy options on that and think that, hey, I'm buying a call option, it's going to go up, or I'm buying a put option thinking it's going to go down. This is actually the exact opposite. This is being the casino, if you will. You're writing the options contract, and in return, you get a premium or a credit for doing so, meaning you get paid instantly the second the option contract goes through. So a common strategy for this is the wheel strategy. So if you don't know what the wheel is, let's say that every options contract is 100 shares of the underlying security. So this is SPY. So right now, if SPY is trading at $440.38, what you would do is you'd move the decimal place over 2, so it'd be 1,000 shares would cost you roughly $44,000, right? So if I had $44,000 sitting in this Robinhood account, I can write a cash secured put, meaning I'm selling an options contract as a put, and I have the money to back it up if that strike price gets met, okay? So right now, the current share price is $440. So let's say I'm going to go a month out from now. I'm going to go to, let's call it September 20th of 2021, and I'm going to look at these different strike prices, aka the price of the underlying security. So if I want to do this, let's just say I think, hey, a month from now, and I didn't want to own SPY. Let's just say I wanted to collect premium. Let's say a month from now, I really don't think that SPY has a chance of getting to $398 per share, the strike price of $400 plus your credits that you collect for this transaction. I'm going to sell one contract of this September 20th $400 put, and it's going to be cash secured because I have $44,000 sitting in my Robinhood account. So if I sell one of these contracts, I'm going to receive a credit instantly once this contract is purchased by a counterparty, and I'm going to receive $190 in my account, okay? So let's just say a month from now, it's September 19th, and SPY actually falls to, let's call it, $380. So the person that bought this contract is actually going to exercise on that, and I'm going to have to purchase 100 shares of SPY using that $44,000 or so sitting in my Robinhood account, okay? So now I own 100 shares of SPY. What I can then do is I can then sell covered calls. So what a covered call is basically Marko owns 100 shares of SPY. So what I'm going to do is, remember, I am the casino. I am the house. I'm selling these calls, okay? So once I do that, I can find the share price. Let's say it's $439. Let's just pretend it's $439. I'm going to go out a month from now. Let's just say September 20th. Just bear with me here. Pretend I owned 100 shares today. And what I can do is I can go and say, hey, you know what? I think that SPY is going to reach, let's just say, 440, for example. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell whatever my break even is. Let's just say I own these things for $447. I would go up to the next place where I make a profit, whatever that profit is. Let's just call it $448, and I would sell a covered call, meaning I have the underlying shares of SPY. I own 100 shares of them. I'm writing one contract, and I'm going to collect $745 for doing so. Now, if this actually goes above that strike price of, let's call it, 444 or whatever that number was we decided to sell at, I'm going to sell my shares at that strike price and not only receive the minimum credit right here of $740 something. It's changing because I didn't execute this. Not only did I receive the $700 something, but I'm also receiving 100 shares times whatever that strike price is. So then I'm making a profit on that trade. So this was super complicated. If you guys don't understand options, you probably didn't understand one thing I just said. But for this person who asked this question, thank you so much. Yes, I have used theta strategies in the past, and I have wheeled a number of different underlying securities. I just don't have those pulled up right now. So I answered these 3 questions. I'm not sure how long this recording went. It's probably a little bit too long, but I'm going to try and edit it down. If you guys like this style of video, please let me know. If you guys want to leave me a voicemail or give me a call, I can tell you the phone number right now. It is 440-673-3580. Please don't send me pictures of your private parts. I'm just going to block the number anyway. Please don't spam it. I have a spam filter created anyway. Send me a voicemail. Send me a text message. Send me your questions, and I'll try and get them answered on this show. Thank you so much, everybody. As always, have a prosperous day. Dude, by putting that number out, oh, I'm going to get the nastiest stuff, dude. I'm just ready. My eyes are ready. I'm going to have to go in there like this. I'm not going to be able to sleep for a week from all the nightmares that I see in those texts. Hopefully you guys like this style. I'm going to try and stick with more of maybe live phone calls in the future, and then also more voicemails, just because reading the text message is kind of boring. So hopefully you got value out of this. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about write-offs, capital gains, and then obviously some of these, or the wheel strategy with the theta decay. Thanks, guys.